Coming up, Jonathan joins cave explorer Mike Young to map an unexplored section of cave. Welcome to Jonathan Bird's Blue World.
The island of Cozumel, known around the world as a scuba diving hotspot. Divers frolic in the drift dives made possible by swift currents. Those same currents feed a variety of marine life, like sponges, coral, fish, and sea turtles. Along the drop-off, hundreds of tunnels through the reef form a labyrinth, a playground for underwater adventures. But in the forest, away from the ocean, another kind of diving. Cenotes provide access to true cave diving for divers with the right training and equipment. And they're not all hidden out in the jungle. In the capital of San Miguel, right near downtown, lies Cenote Park, a protected area right off the main road through town. Today, we're joining a team exploring this cenote. The park helps locals and tourists alike learn about the importance of cenotes. And like most cenotes, this one leads into a vast underground labyrinth of caves. Leading the expedition is cave explorer and Kiss rebreather designer Mike Young.
We started here last year because Fernando needed to do biology here, and so part of that was to make sure everything was safe for him. So we came in and we relined a bunch of stuff because the lines were not in good shape and stuff, and then we started doing our own exploration. Yeah. So what we're standing in is a breakdown where the cave ceiling collapsed, and so it ends up going all the way around. But the main going tunnel is back this way, and so we're going to go ahead and get in here. And we'll head to the south. We can continue on to the end of the line, and we can lay some line. But everything has to be. We would need probably 30 to 40 minutes if we're going to do that, because we can't lay line and not survey it. Okay. So any line that gets laid has to be surveyed. So let's fix you up a couple line arrows each.
Okay. Nice.
And put your initials on them and a number.
And a number?
Yeah, because it's going to be a survey station.
Okay.
So they have to have, everything has to have different numbers, okay? Okay. So different initials, different numbers.
So just like JB1?
Yeah.
With the plan in place, we unload our gear on a busy street. And I would be lying if I didn't admit that I'm excited about the possibility of laying line in a new section of cave. This is something that not all cave divers ever get to do. Laying line or not, we always have our cameras to document the adventure.
I'm representing the Kiss cave diving team today. I have my official shirt on and everything, and I'm a little bit worried. I mean, I'm diving with Mike Young, the man who invented the Sidewinder. No pressure.
Putting on the wetsuit in stifling heat is my least favorite part, but I just think about that nice, cool water. Unfortunately, there's a squishy barrier between us and that cool water. And we have to get all the tanks to the water first.
I'm trying to stay a little bit out of the mud. I don't know why. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sinking into some muck right now. Okay. Oh, that's muddy. It doesn't smell particularly good either. I don't believe we're gonna go diving in this. Oh. Okay. Okay, there we go. Woo!
I'm a little self-conscious putting on a Sidewinder in front of Mike. And when one of my spools falls off, he gives me a quick lesson.
You put it in, one wrap, and then you clip with that.
Clip at the other end.
Now it has a pivot point, and it won't get caught on something and pulled off.
Ah. You learn something new with Mike every day.
Finally, it's time for the water. Our large team consists of scientists, explorers, and filmmakers. So, we've mucked up that nice clear water within seconds of getting in. Todd and I haven't been diving our Sidewinders for 3 months, so we're a little rusty. We take our time gearing up and running through the checks so we don't forget anything. Mike gives us a test of our cave diving skills by suggesting that Todd and I descend first and get the cameras all ready to go. The water is like chocolate milk with zero visibility. We sink blindly into the cave with one hand on the line and the other hand on the camera. Eventually, we emerge into semi-clear water. We get the cameras white balanced. Then Mike and the rest of the team join us. We quickly realize that this is not the crystal clear water we've come to expect in Mexican caves. But when you go exploring, you take what you get. Being in the middle of a city, we don't really want to know what the bacteria levels in the water might be. But judging from the milky look of the water, it's not clean. The rocks are covered in a weird bacterial mat that looks like a coating of foam. The slightest touch or water movement from a fin or hand causes it to break free and go everywhere. We have a long swim to get to the end of the line where we can start exploring. Mike wastes no time getting there. He is not sightseeing, he's on a mission. Because of the milky water and tendency to kick up bacterial mat in our wakes, we stay very close to the line at all times. Soon we enter what could best be described as a dirty layer, probably hydrogen sulfide laying thick in the bottom of the passage. Then we arrive at 4 hollowed-out logs that Mike tells us are pre-Columbian Mayan beehives. The Mayans cultivated honey, and they kept the hives in the cenotes near water because the bees liked it. Of course, back then, the water levels were lower, and these were in air, not underwater. Heading deeper into this spooky cave, we're moving east under neighborhoods, streets, stores, and traffic. But you would never know it down here, where it's peaceful and quiet. Eventually, we get deep enough to hit the halicline. We've descended to the depth of the saltwater layer from the ocean, laying underneath the freshwater layer from the rain. The difference in density between these two layers keeps them apart, like oil and water in salad dressing. But when they're mixed by our fins, we get a swirling, blurry effect. The blurrier it gets, the more I focus on Mike's bright orange fins. Heading deeper into the saltwater layer, we finally reach some pretty clear water. Mike points out a little room for me to film. Dropping gently down inside, I find some nice ornamentation, the first I've seen on the dive. I'm looking around trying to figure out if I can get through here, but then I see it. The line is tied off with an arrow pointing back. This is a dead end. After an awkward reverse out of the ornamented dead end, Mike once again puts it in high gear. As more and more line is laid in a cave, the end of the line gets further and further away, making for a lot of swimming. After what seems like hours, Mike takes my camera and hands me a big spool. Not really a reel, just a giant spool of line. I have no idea which way to go. After getting briefly tangled in my own line and going the wrong way, I finally figure out how to work the giant spool and start swimming. I find my first tie off and I can't believe I'm actually putting new line into a cave. Right now, I'm swimming into a section of cave that nobody has ever been. I'm exploring a place on planet Earth for the first time. It's really exciting and a little scary. As I venture further into the dark unknown, I become keenly aware that the line I'm holding in my hands is my only way home. At the next tie-off, I place a line arrow. Very important for the next person who comes here to know the right way out. But that line arrow is numbered, so we can use it as part of the survey. Mike is about 5 times faster at this than I am, so after a while he swaps the camera for the spool and takes off into the dark. Todd and I are thinking the same thing. Man, this guy explores fast. really getting into a cool-looking section of the cave now with huge formations that have fallen from the ceiling and a lot more stalagmites. Knowing that we have to survey all the line we installed, Mike cuts the line and makes an end-of-the-line tie-off. Now the surveying begins. For each tie-off, Mike takes a compass reading and records the depth. As he swims, he counts the knots tied every 10 feet on the line to get the distance between tie-offs. All the way back along our newly laid line to where we started, we record azimuth, depth, and distance. Later, we will use this information to make a map. Line that we laid in only 5 minutes takes 15 or 20 minutes to survey. Knowing we have a long swim back to the entrance, we leave our newly explored section of cave and turn for home. Along the halocline, bits of bacterial mat float at the top of the saltwater but the bottom of the freshwater, almost as if held by an invisible force field. An hour or so later, we emerge from the chocolate milk.
Wow.
Hey, I laid line in a virgin cave.
You laid line. That's right.
Probably only 100 feet of it.
After you had to ask for directions.
Yes, and I got tangled in the line.
I too got tangled in the line, but not my own line.
I think we're really good at this cave exploring thing. I think we should do this more.
Oh yeah, that was a challenging one. It was a challenging one.
I couldn't see anything either, by the way.
Not on the way in and not on the way out.
Oh, sweet.
That was great.
Nice.
Back at base camp, Mike and fellow cave explorer Randall Purdy enter the survey data into an application that maps it out.
Okay. 13.
Okay. Okay, so we got
G18.
I got one more point in there, so there's 9 points.
G07. G15. All right, this is the cool part. Click. Okay. Bam!
The software generates what's known as a stick map. It doesn't contain any information about the size of the passages, but it shows where each tie-off is located and which way the tunnel goes in between them.
So I bet you those two are supposed to be tied.
Soon we get to the part of the line that I laid.
JB02.
Did you hear that? JB02, JB01.
about that?
Yeah. Right? I put line in a cave. Tons of it.
33,
Okay.
27, 17, 31.
So, you guys are killing me. You're keeping me in suspense. How many thousands of feet of line did I lay today?
Oh, your section was 60 feet.
60 feet of line in a cave. Like I said, dozens of feet of line.
Multiple dozens.
Hundreds of inches.
It actually seemed like more.
Yeah, can we
I
throw
can be
this
honest with
to
you.
the Google?
Yeah.
It seemed like more. But I think I was going really slow.
I forgot to do it.
That's why he took the line and took off.
Run with it.
Google Maps.
With the stick map superimposed on Google Maps, we can see exactly where the cave goes, under streets, parks, and even buildings. This kind of information can be really helpful for conservation and city planning. The team now has more than 7,000 feet of surveyed line in the cave. Mike has named different parts of the cave after team members that helped explore them. For example, there are sections explored by Gus and Woody from Dive Talk, and even a section named after Mike's wife. But most important, may I draw your attention to the current end of the line. Cave exploration is interesting, exciting, and extremely important. It's not just fun. It also helps us understand the movement of groundwater, the potential impact of construction, and the conservation of new species. But that's a story for another episode, coming soon to the Blue World.
Hey, you guys, check out that video. It's a really good one. Also, this one's pretty good too. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe.